Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick, before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. If you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now, really the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting. Everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, before we get started, I want to give a massive shout out to Smilegate for making this another paid promotion video. Big shout out to you guys, so thank you so much. That being said, to be honest with you guys and transparent, all of my opinions are of my own. Smilegate doesn't make me say anything I don't want to, which is massive, and is why I don't mind working with them and being a content creator for them. So massive shout out to you guys for making this an opportunity for me. So thank you for your constant support. That being said, for today's video, we are moving towards Chizuru's banner, and honestly, I'm really excited. I can't wait to pull for her. She looks good, but also some people are still trying to struggle getting through the difficulties for the seasonal content and also building save data. So I want to give some tips that also coincide with the normal chaos just because they're so similar. Some of my advice though will also be hyper specific to the seasonal chaos, so just keep that in mind. But timestamps for wherever you want to go down below. Let's get started. Now for this first one, it might seem obvious, but I feel like everyone should go in with a plan. Now, this is going to exempt the people who are just playing for fun. If you are absolutely just going through it to get XP, get gear, absolutely do what you want, have fun with it. But if you are very much focused on obtaining save data, I feel like you need to go in with a plan, know who you want to focus on. But I know that can't be helped sometimes because of the way that epiphanies are all RNG, but there are a few ways that you can try to prevent this or try to build them in your favor. One, you can hyper focus on a single character. That can work as well, help in my favor, but at the same time, you also want to focus on trying to remove other teammates' cards, especially the ones that get epiphany triggers, so all the epiphany triggers will go to the character that you want to. So if you start removing other players' cards and not the character that you're focused on, it might actually be more in your favor for the character that you're building to get those epiphany procs. This can be much more easier or sometimes more difficult depending on the RNG of events as well, especially ones where you get a mutant sample that's removable, and if you get that applied to a character that you want cards removed, like Flowing Parry, if you apply that and it's removable, it doesn't cost any save data. So stuff like that very much helps and could be in your favor, and then you can end up with some good save data that you want like this. It could be better, but hey, this is pretty damn solid for what it is, especially dealing with the Divine Epiphanies, or even just RNG in general. Now, in some cases, there could be a chance where you get a really good Epiphany for another character that you weren't planning on. You could obviously try to pivot, especially if you have the time before the boss to get that copy card, so that's always a chance as well. It's a matter of RNG, but trying to do what you can to help it go more in your favor is always going to be best for you. And for the second tip, this is going to be a bit more obvious as well, but this wasn't the case originally. If you guys remember 3 weeks ago when we started, the zero system buffs, everything, did not count for the seasonal, but it does now. And I think it's really important that you have as much as you can to try to max this out as possible. All of these buffs, including the attack, the defense, the health, will help you progress through the seasonal much more better. But more importantly, getting these divine representations to just get special buffs right at the start will help you a lot more, especially for delaying shop where you get the free item protocols. These are massively important and just helps give you more options to see what's in the shop. It's gonna all add up for you. So trying to progress through this and finishing it will benefit you the most. I'm pretty much done here, so I'm just building chaos orbs for whatever now. And honestly, even my chaos matrix, I'm at level 60, I'm done. Interestingly enough though, I have not really done the zero system much at all since the new seasonal content is gone, just because I've been building decks through there. So I need to start farming this more and just actually progressing through it, because I can definitely get to 10. But in my defense, I am having a lot of fun with the seasonal content, and the seasonal content is something that I really want to talk about. And it's also going to be applied to the normal chaos runs that you're doing, because if you're trying to farm anything, I just want to say, if you're trying to get forbidden cards, that's one thing, but please, for what you can do, avoid monster cards, okay? I know they are cool. They're so cool. I love all the monster cards. I think they're really awesome, and they can be really strong as well, but Smilegate doesn't really want players to have this or enjoy them, which is a shame because I feel like it would make more interesting decks and really powerful ones. But the fact that they cost 80 Sphinx memory is crazy. It's crazy that it costs so much save data points. It's not worth it at all because that takes up a huge chunk, and especially if you're starting out at a low save data tier, that pretty much just caps you right off the bat. So really unfortunate that they don't really want you to have these. Avoid these as much as possible and just try to build out your normal decks as much as you can, because this will take up a lot of space for something that might not be worth it, especially if you end up getting a great Divine Epiphany or something. You can't have it anymore because this capped you out. Now this one is going to be kind of a contention, but very similar. You're going to want to avoid common cards or neutral cards when they renamed it, unless they are going to be really handy for your character. Let's say like Aggressive Mutant for Yuki. You're going to want to grab this card. But if you are just focused on building normal decks and you're not trying to get any filler in there to get epiphanies for random things you don't want to, avoid common and neutral cards as much as you can so they don't fill the deck even more. I think one of the worst things that can happen is that if you grab a random card that you do not care about, and then that ends up getting a Divine Epiphany, and now you have to deal with that save data cost and it kind of ruins your whole deck run. I feel like that's really unfortunate. So avoiding these when you can, so epiphanies can try to go to the cards that you want, is probably going to be the best bet that you can go for. But I think one of the things that people have a lot of problem with is still the save data, and people are trying to find a sweet spot. What can they farm? What's the best difficulty to go for? Now for me, remember originally it was to level 8, but very early on they actually unlocked 9, 10, and 11. Haven't had time to progress through 9, 10, and 11. They are very difficult, so I just don't have the time. I just want to try to build decks. Luckily though, one of the best ways to farm the decks in this game is actually to do level 8 of the Seasonal Chaos run in Trauma mode. Trauma mode specifically is a must because you get a lot more Divine Epiphanies at the cost of dealing with more stress, but it definitely outweighs the negatives in my opinion. Not to mention, with level 8, this is technically the hardest originally, but then 9, 10, and 11, honestly to me are just flexes that if you can beat it, you're goated, good for you. But honestly, you can build some really great save data through level 8 Trauma mode. That's how I've been building my decks that are really great through this, and it's enough in my opinion, especially if you're smart with knowing the removal costs and everything. Doing the little tricks here and there can be very beneficial. And then to add to that, make sure that you are doing your reobserves. So let's say in here, with this save data tier at value 11, one of my negatives is that I get Gangrene 3, which is a max health decrease, and it also adds more elite areas. I don't want to deal with more elite areas, so let's try retrying, right? So if we retry, we get an awful one with Tyrant 3. You do not want this one because that makes bosses so much harder to do. And you're just going to have a more tough time for yourself. And now I have this save data value tier, which decreases max HP by 50%, then max health decreased by 1% at the start of each turn. Now that might look scary, but when you actually play, it's actually not that bad using Plague 1 and Gangrene 1. These are actually kind of chill and I don't mind using these. But here's the thing, so if you were to do save data value 11, then now you enter the chaos. Let's say that you're trying to farm these characters, sure, whatever. Weird team, but let's go for it. Then we do trauma mode. Now we're at save data value 12. Now we're going to get a lot more from this. But on top of that added save data, not to mention, we are also going to get more epiphany chances like I mentioned before. That's really, really handy. I think that's something really important that a lot of people need to know about, because farming in trauma mode is always going to be the way to go, just because you get more bang for your buck. And if you have a pretty good build going on, you can manage the breakdowns and the stress very much easily. Now, really quick, I actually want to go on a run with you guys because I want to try to show you some tips that you can try to find these dimensional tunnels easier. Dimensional tunnels for the Seasonal Chaos help you find not only the forbidden cards for this season, but also get Divine Epiphanies much more easier, and you can find them twice, especially if you get lucky to just try to find them in both the interior and exterior. It can help you a lot more to try to build out your decks. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's more difficult, and I'm going to try to show you a way that you can easily find them right off the bat. And if it's not that way for you, you can restart if you want to. So let's say that we're at the start of the new run right now. And before we even go, we want to get a good look at the map. So make sure you look at the magnifier glass, get a good idea. Now, first things first, make sure you're doing as many battles and event question marks that you can. Battles so you can try to trigger the epiphanies more, and events just to see what you can get. Focus on those as much as you can, but pay attention to the event markers and see the layout of them. Because when they are 2 in a row, just like this right here, when they are 2 in a row, it's like a 98% chance that these are going to be dimensional tunnels. At least one of these will be. It will trigger that for you, so then you get a better chance at getting some good Divine Epiphanies. But make sure that your route that you're following will get you there. So let's say that you're right here at this waypoint. Make sure that if you're up here, you go down 1. If not, you're screwed and you're going to miss your chance. So make sure that you're not down here, because then you might want to restart your run. Now, if it's not easy like this, not every time it's going to be obvious to you. Sometimes it's just going to be random like this constantly, and it's not going to be 2 in a row. If that's the case and you're trying to go for an easy dimensional tunnel, you can quickly exit, restart, just deal with the fate of the laziness and just move on from there. But also, this can be very time consuming. So to coincide with that, my final tip, if you don't get the epiphany on the card that you're looking for before you get to the first boss where you get your chance to copy a card, restart your run and just exit. 90% of your runs will probably end up that way if you're focused on save data, because the way that the epiphanies work, they're not going to be targeted to specific cards. So let's say that you're trying to get a really great epiphany on Prepare to Subdue, but you keep getting all these epiphanies for like Trickery Strike, you're getting it for the Flash Slash, but you're not getting it for Prepare to Subdue. And unfortunately, when you finish that boss, you're going to get a chance to copy a card, and if that card is the copy card and it doesn't have an epiphany, that sucks. Don't waste your time, restart, but if you're having fun, do whatever you want. I'm just here to give some advice, because this can be very time consuming and not worth it at all, especially if you're hyper focused on trying to build decks. Just try to save yourself some time, save the headache for yourself, know when to back down and restart, because the run's not going the way that you want, especially with RNG and epiphanies. It can be very annoying. So just keep all that in mind. All of this though can just help with not only the seasonal, but just getting through the basics as well. I just want everyone to know what they're doing. Have fun with it. If you feel like you can't even get through 9, 10, and 11, don't feel frustrated. It's honestly just like a flex thing. I think the most important thing to remember is that this game is definitely going to be more of a marathon and not a sprint. Don't burn yourself out, especially if you're focused on building decks. Know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, just have fun with it. You know, this game is still just like a month old. We're having fun with it, but I really hope this advice helps you, especially when Chizuru comes out. Do let me know what your thoughts are on all the seasonal stuff that's going on right now. Are you excited for Chizuru? Are you going to be pulling? Let me know. Hopefully this advice helps you, because I wish I knew about this when I first started, because I definitely wasted a lot of time beforehand, especially when it wasn't worth it to continue runs. So hopefully this helps you. That being said, that is going to be it for me. Once again, big shout out to Smilegate, but that is going to be it for me. So I hope you guys have a lovely day, lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care and have a good one.